I was working at Riverdale Mill in the weave room on second shift. And I think I was not tying in, but laying up warts. Anyway, I was really young. And they had this pipe out back of the mill, and they hook a fire hose to it if they had a fire on the roof. And then it was a metal pipe. It went up side the mill, had braces on it, and then it turned and went on the roof, and you could hook another hose pipe up to it where you wouldn't have to try to drag that huge pipe up there. Anyway, that's what it was for. I'd never seen it used, but I've been looking at that thing for a while, and I said, man, I know I can climb that thing. It had some angle braces on it that was bolted in the side of the mill, and it was, I think it was a 3-inch pipe. So one night it was dark. I said, man, I got to at least try it. So here I go, climbing up that pipe. And every time I get one of them braces, I'd stand on it, rest. And then I got to the weave room, upper weave room. And back then, they didn't have air conditioning. They had the windows. Of course, they propped them open and let the wind, cooler air come in, because they had them humidifiers blowing that darn water in it was awful back then. Anyway, I stopped right there on the brace, and I was looking out through the weave room, seeing all them people. Of course, it was light in there, but out where I was at, right outside the one, it was dark. And this guy was tying in a warp. He had his back to me, but even if he looked around, he couldn't see me, but he was brushing them things. And I whistled out there. He didn't hear me, so I said, hey! And he looked around, side to side. He didn't see nobody, and he just kept on. Hey! And he looked again, then he walked around in front of the loom where he was tying that warp in, and they come back. And after about the 5th time I hollered, he took that brush he was using and he slung that thing down on the floor, and he took off, and I watched him go straight to the office. So I went on straight up on the roof and run across it and climbed down that little metal ladder they had and act like I didn't have to act because nobody knew what was going on. But that was funny to me, but it made him so mad. All right, that's it. That's the end of that one.